Former United States Marine, the Honorable Kenny Melton, will lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Y'all may be seated. I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 2015 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. If you would please give your attention to the emergency evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Commission will come to order. Please register your presence by voting yes.
You have 18 present, 3 absent, and you have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Commissioner Kaler is on a training exercise. Commissioner Akerd, Commissioner Stinnett both have scheduling conflicts. At this time, the chair will stand for motion to set the agenda. Commissioner Melton moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Carter seconds. Discussion. Commissioner Lewis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to pull item 1, or F1B, please.
Commissioner Lewis, we will remove F1B from tonight's agenda. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to request that B8 be moved to new business, that B9 be moved to the consent calendar.
Let's see. Hold on a minute. You're asking for B8 for 8. B8 to be moved to new business.
Yes. B9 be moved to the elections, appointments, and confirmations.
That was done. The nominations were done in the consent calendar, and the product of that's been moved to the agenda. So tonight we're voting on the slate.
Okay. And then item F1A it did not go through the agenda committee to get to this body.
No, there's provision in local rules that budget can come directly to the commission.
A budget item?
Yes.
Can come direct. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So B8, the pending motion is to set the agenda, removing item F1B and item B8. B8 will go to new business. F1B will be removed. Anyone need clarification? B8 from the consent calendar is going to new business. It'll go after F6. And item F1B, which is the surplus of property resolution, is being deleted. That's the motion on the floor. Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner French, do you have a question? Consent calendar, budget transfer, general county fund 6,000. It's where the judicial commissioners funding was moved to the judges. So we'll take that up. It will become F7. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the agenda, removing F1B and moving B8 to new business. Vote no, not to set the agenda.
You have 17 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain.
The agenda is set. The next item of business is item B, the consent calendar. The chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Lewis moves. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Hedrick seconds. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can we vote on 9B separately?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
Without objection, there's a request to vote on 9B separately. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Vote yes to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 9B. Vote no, not to approve.
You have 17 yes, 0 no, and 1 abstain.
The consent calendar is approved with the exception of item 9B. Chair will stand for a motion to approve item 9B. Commissioner Samples moves. Commissioner Lewis seconds. That's to approve the appointment of the Purchasing Commission. Carter, Longhurst, Floyd, and Hillis. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're kind of entering into uncharted territory, and so I have a question. What items come directly from the Purchasing Commission to this body?
By law, this Purchasing Commission meets from time to time. It's a policy-making commission. That's the research I've done on it.
Well, I have a hypothetical. What if, okay, there's only one county commissioner being nominated here. What if that commissioner decides he doesn't like something from the decision, because only a member of the board may introduce a resolution to this body? So would somebody if he said he didn't like something that the Purchasing Commission sent forward, who's going to pick it up and carry it? Is somebody else on this board going to have to come? So it would be sitting in limbo until a commissioner chose to adopt it.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the appointments of the Purchasing Commission. Vote no, not to approve.
You have 15 yes, 2 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent.
Item B, 9B is approved. The next item of business is public input on items on the agenda. Anyone wish to, if you'll come forward, please. Deputy Clerk, will you only start the clock after the speakers introduce themselves, state the district in which they reside, and the item on the agenda which they will be providing comment. Just a moment, Ms. King.
I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future. I reside in District 4. I will speak on F6. I never thought I'd see a day when our great country, our great state, would give in to socialism, where a private tax-paying citizen would be forced to hand over their personal property rights to Gestapo tactics. The state set guidelines for a water buffer several years ago, although we never should have agreed and signed on to their contract, but we did. Well, that contract has now changed again with new requirements. Shouldn't that negate and invalidate the original document? We should now tell them that they can't change the rules and expect us to just sit back and obey. Would a court really allow a penalty when an original contract has changed? This resolution is not about clean water. We all want clean water. That's a no-brainer. But there are already laws on the books about polluting. This resolution is about more government regulations telling us what we can and can't do on our own property. They worry about silt running downhill, but not about fluoride or fluosilicic acid being forced upon the people through drinking water and through filtering into rivers. If a citizen has a stream, creek, or river abutting their property, they paid a higher price for that asset. They aren't going to harm that asset. We don't need Big Brother tramping on no trespass properties by way of giving policing power to a county employee whose salary we pay while he erodes our rights. Next, he'll be asking for additional staff to enforce his police power. It's sad to think that if you give in to these demands, our citizens will no longer have a right to enjoy every inch of land that they bought and paid for. Several years ago, we had some strong people like Gordon Wright who fought along with us line by line to chop the resolution written by a county employee to bits. Hopefully you too will understand the importance of supporting landowners and not big government. Some of you on the previous commission voted to support property rights by condemning Agenda 21. This is your chance to stick to that decision and vote no to Justin Teague. God bless the Patriots.
Anyone else? If you'll come forward, sir, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Dick Scott. Only comment I wanted to make.
Mr. Scott, if you could, what district and the item you'll speak to, sir.
District 10. And?
The agenda item.
Well, the agenda item was the one that was just spoken on.
Continue, sir.
Okay, whatever that was. The only comment I want to make is the speaker and a lot of folks, unless you live on lakeside property, as I do, all you need to do is go out there and take a look at our lake on various times and see the dirt, the trash, how filthy the lake gets. And if there can be something done to alleviate at least some of that, I think the commissioner should go ahead with it. I have another item I'll speak under new business, but it's related to that. But you need to take a look at that lake sometimes after a good rain and see what washes into it.
Anyone else? Next gentleman, please.
My name is Dennis Silverberg. I'm from District 8, representing the Laurel Valley community, and just wanted to encourage the commissioners to consider, the item is F3, the Ad Hoc Committee for Recycling, and we're strongly supportive of improving Blount County's efforts in recycling, especially in glass, and I would volunteer anything we can do to help move that item forward and try and get some movement to improve the recycling efforts for the county. That's all.
Next person, please.
I'm Larry Shore from 504 Calderwood Highway, District 7. And I live on 7 acres, and I have a creek that goes through my property, which is a real asset. And I think most people that do have water sources, whether it be a pond or creek, on their property, look at it as an asset. And property owners take care of their assets because it's valuable to them. But I think to expand the regulations on the water quality, we're going in the wrong direction. In other words, we don't need to be, it's just a means of taking government, giving government control to property owners, taking property rights from them. If we're going to have regulations on water control, let it be buffers on government property. I mean, more pollution and all comes into our waterways and all through the cities and streets and such that, but a property owner takes care of their property. And we don't need more government control, and to expand this is just going to cost the county more money, and really it's not going to do anything but create more problems. Thank you.
I'm Henry Myers, District 8, Townsend, property owner along Little River. I've talked to several people today, and I'm informed that the state's pushing that we got to comply. We're going to be fined. And my concern is the fine, I've been told, is $10,000. It's going to cost more than that to have a setback cop to infringe upon the property rights, the owner's property right, the property owner's rights. You know, I'd like for everybody to ask themselves, have you read the regulations to this, 300 plus pages? Or do we have to pass it in order to know what's in it? And then I'm told, well, it doesn't apply to agriculture. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like their plan, you can keep your plan. This is an encroachment. The lady spoke a minute ago about socialism. Do we want a pathway, a right-of-way on our property? I live there have property on Little River. I find people in my barn. I say, what are you doing? We're tubing. Well, the river's down there, but it's storming. And I look, they're smoking in my barn. Is this so they can have a right-of-way that I can do nothing and sit and not tell you to get off my property? This is private property, folks, and it's an encroachment. We're willing to give it away to keep the water clean. It has nothing to do with clean water. I want clean water for everybody. The water has always run downhill, and it has carried dirt with it. It has nothing to do with that. We're giving up our property rights in the name of quality water. And believe you me, I want our water clean as much as anybody. But I certainly hope that we will look at what we're considering here. The rights were taken away from the people that pay taxes on this property and pay taxes all their life to the river and to the middle of the river, and I can't do anything with it. I don't plan on it, but someday my children might. I would certainly hope that you guys will look at this, and ladies, and decide, do we want more government power here? Do we want more control? Do we want more setback cops? Who's going to pay for it? We got to live under the state, or we'll be fined. Or state regulations will be fined. Pay the $10,000 fine. That'll be a whole lot cheaper than 1, 2, 3, or 7 setback cops. I remember the day when there used to be one, Jim Medlin, soil conservationist, that did deal with the sewer systems. And then they got up to about 12. How many will it take? And I appreciate your time, and I hope you'll vote your conscience. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Samuel Duck. I'm from the 3rd Commission District. I'm actually going to comment on F6, if I may. There's influential people in this county that either achieve their positions of authority. They tend to cast votes based upon who's involved. It's interesting to me there's another group of people opposed to this group of influential people who, when they achieve positions of authority, tend to do the same thing but in reverse. I saw this in a bill that was presented to the commission a couple of months ago. Most of the votes lined up predictably because the man wanting to rezone the property was well known within this circle of influential people. However, there's a certain commissioner who, like myself, is rather libertarian. I hope I'm not putting words in her mouth, but I suspect she views it as an insult that we even have to ask our overlords in government for permission to do something with property that we already own. What's the purpose of buying something if you still have to pay rent for it or still have to ask permission to use it? So it's no surprise to me when she voted the way she did. However, I think this confused those used to petty votes based upon somebody's name. Along the way, I found something interesting out. Did you know that Blount County didn't even have zoning until 1996? That's 200 years with no zoning, but 19 years with zoning. So why don't we return to the old way of doing things? Why was the old way broken? Why was it bad? I would like to see everyone on equal footing. I'm tired of the pettiness that comes from government control. I say everyone should be free to use what they paid for, and that brings me to tonight's bill. It says you can't use a 60-foot swath of the land you paid for. It says the government can put someone else's name on your deed, and then they can authorize projects on your land. Supposedly, our county could be fined for noncompliance. We were fined 5 years ago. The fine was reduced when we complied, but we never paid the reduced fine. Experts at the state level don't think the fine would even stand up in court if challenged. And the reason I noticed is I don't see any law authorizing TDEC to fine us. Sure, it's in TDEC's regulations, but they write their own regulations. Regulations are not law. Thus, it's possible we'd never even have to pay the fine. The current bill expires in several months. This is a bad bill. I personally know two of the sponsors of this bill. I don't think either one of them would have supported it if they knew what was in it. And by the way, this is a 400-page bill with links off to other documents, some of them over 100 pages themselves, and I have skimmed it. So I've actually looked at this. I think they got suckered into it. I find it interesting the person who put this together would also benefit from gaining policing power. I would like to see everyone vote like that one commissioner, vote for everyone's property rights, not just the privileges of a few. This bill should be defeated here and now. Vote no on F6.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, come forward.
I'm Keith Miller from District 4. I'd like to join in the chorus against F6. I have just a few remarks on it. First, there were adequate laws in the county concerning water quality. Then those who advocate big government saw how water quality could be used to create bigger, more intrusive government. More bureaucracies, more highly paid bureaucrats, more taxes like the rain tax, euphemistically referred to as stormwater fees. Well, it's time to push back against all this, but it can still be done. I'm encouraging you to vote no on F6 and stand up for private property rights. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Jamie Daly, Commissioner of District 10.
You're speaking as a private citizen now.
I'm speaking as a private citizen, and I am in District 10. And I just want to say I am the chairman of this committee. When this came up that they needed an ad hoc committee, no one wanted to do it, and I wondered why. Everyone on this committee is brand new this year. We were told that we had to do this, pass this law, or you've heard other people speak, that this is the rule and we have to pass it and we have to fulfill all of the provisions that are set before us. When you look at this with the language in it, you can tell clearly that it's agenda.
Commissioner.
What?
Can you show in the minutes where anyone directed you that you had to pass this in the meeting?
I'm
that we
sorry, I
had?
don't understand.
In the minutes of the meeting where the ad hoc committee was formed, can you produce in the minutes where you directed to pass this? You just made a statement that you were told that this had to be passed. Is
Well,
that
that's
in the,
correct. It had to be. It's required.
that you were directed in a meeting of this body that you had to pass? That was not your charge.
Oh, no,
The
I
charge
see
of
what
the-
you're saying now. No, the commission did not say it had to be passed. No.
Continue.
Justin Teague told us it had to be passed. It's a rule. And all of the procedures, this is I believe, the third or fourth time we've had to, well, there's been many committees working with this. So we did have a lot of trouble getting together. This was in January. You know what happened in February and March, but we did have our meeting. We went line by line, and I was chairman. So I could not make a motion. If I had, we probably wouldn't have gotten anything accomplished at all because I would have voted no to everything. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, this is an unconstitutional rule. It would not stand up in court. I understand that we have to do it because we're told by Nashville we have to do it. And the rules have been changed. It's now a bigger distance. I'm worried about in 5 years, what more are they going to want? I did talk to several leaders, and this all comes because we are in the footprint of Knoxville, and that is a Agenda 21 word. And that was told to me by Nashville. Because we joined the MS4 back when they were doing 9 counties, 1 vision, and then Plan ET, we are in the footprint of Knoxville, and we're stuck there, and I'm being told we can never get out of it. So somebody needs to stand up, and the citizens need to stand up and take our country back. That's all.
If you'll come forward, sir.
My name is Gilbert Webb. I live in Townsend, District 8. I have 1,500 feet riverfront property. Just got involved in this last 2 or 3 days. People have called. Don't know much about is it a bill? Is it a law? Is it something? Why are we voting if it's something Nashville says we have to do? It's a question I have. How long has it been on the books? Have we ever been fined? I have rental cabins, have a little farm property, did everything possible to put septic fields out in the field off the river property. I trout fish. I want it beautiful, as pristine as possible, but I'm thinking here, is this a setback, an easement for building? Is it a right-of-way for trespassing? And I got here late, I apologize, but just some simple questions here. Have we ever been fined so far?
Sir, you're offering comment. It's not
Oh,
a
it's
question
F6.
and
I'm
answer.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
asking a few questions here. I'm saying about the bill having 300 to 400 pages. Do we really know?
Sir, the resolution doesn't have
F6.
400 pages. F6 has much less than that.
Okay.
Full
Is
resolution.
it,
Go ahead.
is it something, I mean, if it's state and it's a law, why is there a vote? You know, if you can show me that it's going to make the river better, I'm for it, big time. If people are cheating, get them. If it helps to get them, go after them. Don't have a problem. Just some questions. I guess getting here, the buffer zone, I look at it as could be several things. And I don't know. I will get it and try to find it and read it. But my question is, why I'm here, do you have to vote on it tonight? Can it be postponed so we can have maybe some legal advice? Because once you pass something, it's really hard to take it back. So thank you for your time, and if I've rambled, I apologize. I've heard one side of it, haven't heard it all, and I haven't read it. So I don't know, but the question I ask you is, have you all read it? It's hard to vote on something you don't know what's in it. We've been caught in that just a short time ago. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, next item of business is item D1. Election to fill the vacancy of the office of Blount County School Board, District 2. Deputy Clerk, as a required statutory notice has been given to the public, to the commission, and to other related parties,
Yes, published in the paper on March the 2nd.
and mailed to all the commissioners.
Yes.
Pursuant to public notice, the chair has allowed registered voters to submit names in writing to the chair prior to this meeting. One has been submitted, the name of Bill Paget. At this time, are there additional names any registered voter would like to submit to the chair? At this time, is there an additional name any registered voter desires to submit to the chair? Any nomination must have the person present or a written statement that the person nominated will serve if appointed. Mr. Paget has met this requirement. The floor is open to the members of the commission to nominate candidates to fill the vacancy of the office of Blount County School Board, District 2. Commissioner Archer, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recommend Darrell Lindsay for this post.
Thank you, Commissioner Archer. These nominations by law do not require a second. Is Mr. Lindsay in the audience? Mr. Lindsay is here. Commissioner Crowe, you're recognized.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Bill Paget, please.
Commissioner Crowe nominates Mr. Bill Paget. Commissioner Monroe, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I nominate Samuel David Duck.
Commissioner Monroe nominates Mr. Samuel Duck. Are there additional nominations from the Board of Commissioners? Seeing no lights, the chair will stand for a motion to close nominations. Commissioner French moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Caskey seconds. All in favor of closing nominations say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Nominations are closed. Pursuant to TCA 55111, after nominations cease, county body may discuss nominations. Chair now will recognize any commissioner for the purpose of discussion. Commissioner Cole, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are we allowed to have Bill, Darrell, and Sam speak and tell us a little bit of background about themselves?
We're discussing among the commissioners, and the next step will be to allow them, the chair has the discretion to allow each one of the nominees to come forward and make a statement, 3 minutes. Anyone else? Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. This Board of Commissioners will make a lot of difficult votes. We'll make a lot of tough decisions. This is not one of them. If you look at the experience, here you have a gentleman in Bill Paget who has 30 years experience in classroom at all levels. He's a former school board member. He has experience there. He's not going to have to be trained. He's not going to have a learning curve when he sits down next Thursday in the budget committee. He's going to know what's going on with the schools. He's experienced in the budget matters. He's experienced in school matters. He's willing to work with the state and with the schools to bring the schools in compliance with all the rules and regulations that are handed down from the state. He doesn't want to go against that. He wants to work with our legislators. And this should be an easy vote. If you look at experience and what he brings to the table, this is an easy vote. And I would highly recommend Bill Padgett. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no lights at this time, the chair will allow any nominee to address the commission for a period of 3 minutes. Mr. Padgett, would you like to come forward? It's not necessary, but if you'd like to come forward, please.
Retiree from the Blount County school systems, and I still have a really vested interest in the school system. And I'd like to see Blount County be the best school system it can, the best in the state and the best in the country. And that is why I've offered my candidacy for that position. So I thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Lindsay, would you like to address the commission?
Thank you. I'm Darrell Lindsay. I've been married 35 years to Pamela Lindsay. We have a son, Brett Lindsay, that is a school teacher in Blount County Schools, also one of the coaches. His wife is a school teacher. Part of my experience is with them and the fact that I also have a degree in elementary ed. Some experience that I do have is with Christenberry Elementary School in Knoxville. I serve on their after-school policy council. I also serve on Head Start of Knoxville Policy Council. As far as being contacted about this vacancy, Chris Cantrell gave me a call a few weeks back, and he expressed to me that due to a conflict of interest that he was going to have to step down. He asked me if I would be interested, and I told him, let me think about it first and talk to the family, which I came back to him and I said, yes, I would have great interest in this position. I enjoy working with our youth of Blount County. Especially, I have been over at Heritage High School the last few years and working in the athletic department with athletic director Robbie Bennett and also basketball coach Bill Duncan. I can see where I can put to use my passion for good education. I can see that I have lots of energy to work, and I believe I would be a strong leader in prioritizing and organizational skills. So I would appreciate your thought on this, and perhaps if you would like to talk with me, I will be here as well, and just feel free to come up and discuss anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Duck.
Thank you, gentlemen, for letting me speak again. I know several of you personally. I know that when you assume the office of county commissioner, many people come to you with their hands out asking for more money. At the same time, you have ornery citizens tired of paying high taxes. I know I'm one of those ornery citizens. This can put you in a difficult spot since fiscal responsibility means telling one of those two groups no. Normally, you can't influence who is in which group. However, this is one opportunity for you to do just that. I'm the one candidate for this position that you know is not going to come to you asking for more money. Even though I'd be 1 vote out of 7, it might help when it comes time to set a budget for the schools if at least one person is saying enough is enough. We should live within our means. If only all department heads did the same, your job would be much easier. Contrast this with candidates who are affiliated with the school system. I don't have a membership list, so I can't say for certain, but many of those affiliated with the county schools are members of BCEA. Not only has BCEA asked for more money, but they have even taken the step to sue our county for more money twice. I was one of the first people to oppose Common Core. My initial reason was it's unconstitutional. There's nothing in our nation's constitution even authorizing a U.S. Department of Education. The DOE wasn't even created until 1978. As time went on, I realized how bad Common Core really was. For example, the city of Maryville used to teach multiplication in the 2nd grade. My son learned multiplication then. This meant that when the students first saw multiplication on 3rd grade TCAP, it was child's play. Multiplying 8 times 7 is nothing when you're already working on 96 times 54. Common Core changed that. When my daughter brought home 3rd grade homework, she was adding numbers using blocks. One fellow who runs a daycare here in Blount County told me his students do that, but they're pre-kindergarten. If you vote for any candidate who supports Common Core, this is what you're voting for. There were 29 members of the Common Core validation panel. James Milgram was the only mathematician on the panel, and he refused to sign off on these standards. There was also no English teachers on the panel, and some members of this panel have been rather open about the fact that they were motivated by the desire to indoctrinate our children. Common Core is more about pushing statist philosophy in education and maintaining worker class of the people than it is about improving education. It also includes a rather sinister data collection aspect. Due to time, I'll just say this. If we can't collect all the data we want because we can't afford technology this may be a blessing to our children in disguise. Lastly, some of you may consider me a lightning rod. Ponder this. A lightning rod only works when it's the only thing standing tall. If there are numerous other objects standing tall around the lightning rod, then it ceases to be a lightning rod. My biggest expectation of others is we should all stand tall and do the right thing.
Will the clerk call the roll? When the commissioner's name is called, please give the name of the person that you wish to fill the vacancy.
Allen. Archer. Bowers. Carter. Carver. Caskey. Cole. Crow. Daly. Farmer.
I desire to pass this time.
French. Hedrick. Lewis. Melton. Miller. Monroe. Moon.
Pageant.
Samples. Stinnett absent. Commissioner Farmer, do you wish to change your pass?
Paget.
I have 11 for Bill Paget, 4 for Darrell Lindsay, 3 for Sam Duck, and 3 absent.
Thank you, clerk. Mr. Pageant, if you'll come forward, sir. Judge Foster, if you could please come forward. At this time, the oath will be administered. 11 votes are required, 11 votes are gained. Judge, if you'd like to come up forward. Yes.
raise your right hand. You'll turn this way so everybody can see you. Do you, Bill Paget, solemnly swear that you will perform with fidelity the duties of the office to which you have been appointed and which you are about to assume? Do you solemnly swear to support the constitutions of Tennessee and the United States and to faithfully perform the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education representing the 2nd Education District of Blount County, Tennessee? So help you God.
There is no business under item E. The next item of business is item F1A. The chair will stand for motion on F1A, Resolution 1503-005, to amend the general purpose school fund budget by $640,000. Commissioner Caskey moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1503-005. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to vote for this because obviously we do need to fix the roofs. However, I would like to request that in the future we be given more information. There's only 2 pages in our packet. And if I hadn't read in the Daily Times about the bid process, I wouldn't know it even happened or existed. And I'm being asked to vote on $640,000 without any information in the packet. So I would just respectfully request in the future that we be given some more information. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1503-005. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no, not to adopt.
We have 18 yes, 0 no, and 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Item F1B was removed. The next item of business is F2A. The chair will stand for a motion on F2.
I move F2A, B, and C.
The motion is to move and set the public hearings on items F2A, B, and C. Is there a second? Commissioner Lewis seconds. The motion is to set the public hearings. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the public hearings. Vote no, not to set.
Yes, 0 no, and 3 absent.
The public hearings are set. The next item of business is F3. The chair will stand for motion F3, Resolution 1502-005, a resolution to establish an ad hoc committee to study the feasibility of recycling in Blount County. Commissioner Caskey moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1502-005. Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment.
State your amendment.
Under Section 2, the ad hoc committee to study recycling shall consist of 3 commission members appointed by the Blount County legislative body and 4 citizen volunteers.
You strike 3, insert 4s.
Yes,
That's
sir.
your motion.
Yes, sir.
Is there a second? Commissioner Bowers seconds. Pending motion is to amend Resolution 1502-005, striking 3 in Section 2 and insert 4. Discussion? Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the amendment. Vote no, not to approve.
Have 16 yes, 2 no, and 3 absent.
The amendment is approved. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1502-005 as amended. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt Resolution 1502-005 as amended. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 18 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F4. The chair will stand for motion on F4. Resolution 1502-006, authorizing CBIZ Benefits and Insurance of Tennessee as the new broker consultant of the Blount County Employee Health and Welfare Benefit Plan. Commissioner Lewis moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1502-006. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I noticed last week that Commissioner Caskey voted no, and he's a sponsor. I was just wondering if he would be willing to share his reason for voting no. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Commissioner Caskey, do you wish to answer? It's your option.
No, sir.
Pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1502-006. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 18 yes, 0 no, 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F5. The chair will stand for motion on F5, Resolution 1503-003, authorizing a continuous 4-year reappraisal cycle. Commissioner Bowers moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Dodd seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1503-003. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In our packet, the letter from Mr. Helton says that there is a 5-year, one of the 3 options is a 5-year cycle with no intervening update. But the way the resolution reads, it almost implies that there is. If we were to stay with the 5-year plan, can those values be changed in the 3rd year? And I don't guess he's here. Does anyone know the answer to that question? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Cole, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One question I had, looking through the packet, is if we go to the 4-year cycle, do we need additional resources working for the county to do that or not?
Just a moment. Commissioner Samples, do you like
Well,
to
I
respond?
was
and answer that?
going to offer an answer. I believe in the agenda committee the other night, Mr. Helton said he did not, or would not.
That's correct. Are the members ready for the question? Pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1503-003. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
You have 17 yes, 1 no, 3 absent.
The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F6. The chair will stand for a motion on item F6. Resolution 1503-004, establishing a water quality buffer and related regulations of streams, rivers, wetlands, ponds, and lakes in Blount County.
motion to get done for, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Farmer for discussion. Is there a second? Commissioner Melton seconds. Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's interesting this was brought to us by Mr. Teague. At the time it was brought to us, there was a recommendation put before this body to refer it to the Planning Commission for them to handle this and to write this. That was not how it was handled. Instead, an ad hoc committee was established. The ad hoc committee took this. They come back with as we were told, a unanimous recommendation. It was voted unanimously by the ad hoc committee to come forward to us. And now suddenly, it seems the people that were on the ad hoc committee are against it. I will once again make a motion to refer this to the Planning Commission for their oversight and handling. Let them review it, then bring it back to this commission.
We have a motion to refer to planning. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Sample, second. Discussion on the motion to refer. Commissioner Monroe.
Are we up against a May deadline? Then are we going to dump this on the planning and say you got to do it in April and expect them to get us to research this in 1 month? I think that's kind of irresponsible of this body. I mean, I understand.
It possibly could.
Commissioner, you yield the floor.
Sure.
Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized.
That's sort of why I brought it forward, 3.5, 4 months ago to refer it to them. Instead, we put it on the ad hoc committee. It got bounced around, now it's back, and the people on the ad hoc committee are not even in favor of it.
Well, and I understand that.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized for the second time.
I understand that, but that was done, unfortunately, and this commission has the duty. That's not really the duty of the Planning Commission. They have a lot of responsibilities under state law, but all we're doing is just dumping our responsibility off on them. So I don't see how we can dump this off on them and expect them to reasonably handle this situation in 1 month. I don't think that's responsible of this body to lay that at their feet and say, figure it out, tough, send us back to us in a month. I don't think that's responsible on our part. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized.
Yes. I think the big problem here is that
It's on the commission, on the motion to refer, not on the main motion. We're discussing a motion
on the
to
motion,
refer.
I can only speak on the motion to defer. Yes, that's what I'm speaking on. That is a good idea because at this point, we've had more time to look at it, or everybody has, and to see that the ad hoc committee was under the impression that it had to be more thorough than we did it. No, I think I'm saying that backwards. I'm saying that gives everyone more time to study this and see how invasive and redundant it is. That's all.
Commissioner Carter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Being on the planning committee, I personally feel that it should not come back. I just don't believe, actually, I agree with Tommy. I think we need to go ahead and vote on it now because I don't feel that it should be in the planning committee anyway. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We spent 4 hours looking at this issue. This is not something that, excuse me, that we looked at in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and then turned around and just did something. We went through this very thorough. This was 4 hours of sitting there and going line by line and bringing it into compliance with what the state was telling us we had to do. So I would I would agree with Commissioner Monroe. Let's vote on this thing up or down, one way or the other. Thank you.
Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized for the second time, sir.
In reference to the referral, we can't send it back to the ad hoc committee. It no longer exists. Once they forwarded their recommendation, they no longer exist. So we can't send it back to them. Yet if the people who brought it forward are not happy with it, if we vote this down tonight and we do not meet the state timeline requirements, Mr. Teague was here, Mr. Melton and myself were here. Yes, we were fined. We may have worked out another deal where we didn't have to pay the full fine, but there are consequences. If I could recognize Mr. Teague, since I did see him come in, and simply ask him if what is currently before us is what is required by the state, I will withdraw my motion to refer it to the Planning Commission.
You still have the floor, Mr. Farmer.
I'm just waiting patiently.
Commissioner Mr. Teague, you're recognized.
Mr. Teague, my question is very simple. The contents of this, are we meeting the requirements of the state?
Currently we are not right now. This resolution that we have.
Mr. Teague, that wasn't a question.
The current resolution.
No, we are not.
The current resolution does not meet the requirements of the state?
Correct.
I'm sorry. The resolution before us tonight, the proposed, I understand the existing one does not.
The proposed, yes.
That's all I want to know. I will withdraw my motion to refer it to the Planning Commission.
Without objection? Hearing no objection, motion's withdrawn.
Got an objection?
Do you object to withdrawing the referral?
Ms. Daly.
Ms. Daly, do you object? I object, yes. Okay. So the motion to refer is still in order, belongs to be in order. The pending motion is to refer this matter to the Planning Commission. Commissioner French. Whoops, turn you off.
I recall 4 to 5 years ago when this came before the commission that it seems like we were put on a timeline at that time also. We've got to do this right now or we're going to be fined. However, at that time, I think the commission used a little sense and decided to investigate that particular resolution, that particular bill, and we took our time and decided and came up with the existing resolution that we have now that does not meet the state requirements. I think it's a little out of character to try to put this up and say we can't throw it back on the Planning Commission because we've only got 1 month. Well, the heck with 1 month. We did it last time. We can do it this time and take our time and do what's right. That's all I've got to say.
Commissioner Carver, you're recognized.
Mr. Teague, I have one question for Mr. Teague.
Mr. Teague, if you'll come forward. Commissioner Carver, ask your question, sir.
Mr. Teague, does this obligate the entire county, or is this within the urban growth boundary? That's a question that I want to be sure about.
It's the urbanized area of the unincorporated area of Blount County. So it's not countywide, no.
So
is that your question, sir?
Would that affect the towns and residents?
No, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Carter, do you wish to be recognized? for the second time?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis?
Justin, are you happy with this resolution as it reads?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Are you speaking to the motion to refer? You're recognized. If you could,
Yes,
I push the button
I'm
and
trying to
lights
ask
it
a
up.
question. And just-
Continue.
We could, on this motion, on this resolution, we have surpassed, again, what we have to do to get by with the state, have we not?
Does this have to do with the motion to refer? You're speaking to the main motion. Thank you, Mr. Teague. Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to refer this matter to the Planning Commission. Are the members ready for the question?
Will you please explain that the motion maker
What's the
tried
motion?
to withdraw it?
That's correct, Commissioner Farmer. You're raising a point of order. The point of order is the motion maker wanted to withdraw. It belongs to the body. There was no second on withdrawal. So it still belongs as the pending question is to refer. Is that a satisfactory explanation? Are the members ready for the question? If you're in favor. The pending motion is to refer this matter to the Planning Commission. Vote yes to refer. Vote no not to refer. Please vote.
We have 9 yes, 9 no, and 3 absent.
The motion to refer fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1503-004. Commissioner Monroe, I believe you've spoken twice. No, you have not. Excuse me. Yes. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing, I want to thank Amy Cowden for getting back to me quickly today. I appreciate that. I remember when all of this started, or at least the second round of it, and there was an article in Blount today with former Mayor Cunningham where he said that there was no mandate and nobody knew. Apparently, the law firm Bass, Berry & Sims had checked into it. And I went to Blount today's website, and their website's down, so I couldn't find that article. So I asked Ms. Cowden to get me the opinion because I wanted to see if Bass, Berry & Sims had taken the position that there was no mandate. And what she sent me from them said that we have to do it. So the question is has there ever been a time where we got a legal opinion that said that this was optional? Because everything I read says once you're declared an MS4, you have to do it, and you have to meet the state standards. So have we ever received anything in writing, either from TDEC or from a law firm, that says that there was no mandate? Did we ever at one time volunteer? Who declared us an MS4? At what time did they declare us an MS4? Did they have the authority to declare us an MS4? And so I would move, since we have until May to do this, I would move that we postpone this till the April commission meeting and see if we can all as commissioners do our homework.
We have a motion to postpone until the May meeting or April meeting?
April meeting.
April meeting. Is there a second? Commissioner Cole seconds. The motion is to postpone this matter until the April regular commission meeting. Made by Commissioner Monroe, seconded by Commissioner Cole. Discussion on the motion to postpone. Commissioner Daly, you're recognized.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea because when you really study this, you can see that it could cause all kinds of problems. We are TVA county, and TVA has enough laws to cover everything. Thank you.
Commissioner Carter, you're recognized on the motion to postpone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I was going to ask is not on the motion to postpone.
Well, it's out of order then. Is there any additional discussion on the motion to postpone? Seeing no lights, the pending motion is to postpone this matter to the April regular commission meeting. Vote yes to postpone. Vote no not to postpone. Commissioner.
You have 11 yes, 7 no, and 3 absent.
11 yes, 7 no, 3 absent. The motion to postpone carries. The next item of business is the item that was moved from the consent calendar, item B8. Item B8 is to approve a budget transfer of the general county fund of $6,000. Chair will stand for a motion. Commissioner Lewis moves. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Hedrick seconds. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anyone that can answer questions about this?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
The finance director's here. Ask a question, please.
Okay, Mr. Vineyard.
To the chair.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. I realize that this was created as a new line item in the budget, which is a good idea, and I'm totally thrilled that we did that. However, we really don't know how much these people are being paid. What are their salaries? Do we have a list of employees? What is this money going for? Did somebody underestimate how much we're paying them? Why are we, I realize that you mentioned that the budget, we were just estimating the first year's cost, but did the salaries end up costing more than we thought? And if so, why?
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized, sir.
It has nothing to do with underestimating anything. This body was informed by legal advice that the jurisdiction of the judicial commissioners falls under the judges, not the circuit court clerk. We did move, as you mentioned, the judicial commissioners out of the clerk's budget and into a separate line. And now and the matter before you is merely to move money out of the clerk's budget to pay for the balance of this year the salaries and the costs associated with the judicial commissioners. It is not an increase in anything. It's an allocation of $6,000 from the clerk's office to the judicial commission budget.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard. Commissioner Monroe.
Okay, it's not an increase, but it's a move to a different line item. So somebody had to make an estimate of how much these were going to cost. Who set that budget?
Commissioner Monroe, I believe that was in an approved budget, and it's just moving the appropriation from one cost center to the other cost center.
Who is responsible for submitting that budget?
Circuit Court Clerk and the Budget Committee of Blount County.
Okay.
And by vote of the Blount County Commission when they approved the appropriations budget.
Okay, now he told me that he was not in charge of them anymore. So does he still handle the budget?
Mr. Vineyard.
The positions for judicial commissioner were removed from the clerk's budget and the budget this body approved. there is additional money that's being moved from the clerk's budget to the judicial commission budget to finish paying for the salaries associated with judicial commissioners for the balance of this year.
That does not answer
Commissioner
who,
Monroe, maybe I can use this analogy. If we move Ms. Pitts to the clerk's office, I believe Mr. Crawford would demand that we move the funding to his office. I hope that's an explanation.
but who set that, who estimated those costs? Who sets that budget for the judicial commissioners? Who's submitted that to this body?
That was submitted by the circuit court clerk when he had those people working under his jurisdiction. When it was moved, the funding should be moved with it, and that's what this is an attempt to do.
Okay, when were they moved from his office? Because he told me they're not under him. So who will handle the budget next year then?
Mr. Vineyard.
It will not be an issue. This is a transitional matter. It will not be an issue in the fiscal 16 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Vineyard.
That still doesn't tell me, is he going to submit the budget next year?
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized, Mr. Vineyard.
The Judicial Commission budget for fiscal 16 will be submitted on Monday at the hearings by the judge.
By the judge, okay. And so did the judge request this money?
Yes.
Mr. Vineyard,
Okay. And is the judge here? No.
Judge Foster's here, but I don't believe she can speak for Judge Brewer. Is that correct?
I know less about it than Judge Brewer does, Mr. Chairman, so Judge Brewer is the proper person to answer my question.
Thank you. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the budget transfer. Vote no, not to approve the budget transfer.
You have 16 yes, 2 no, 3 absent.
The transfer is approved. The next item of business is item G, announcements and statements. Seeing no lights, Commissioner French, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Education Committee will be meeting on March 31st at 12 noon at Eagleton Elementary School.
Item H, input on items not on the agenda. Seeing no hands, this completes our agenda. Mr. Scott, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dick Scott, District 10. I just have a question, and I know there's no answer right now, but I have noticed recently that, you know, the roads in Blount County are getting so trashed up with people littering the roadsides. Is there anything the county or the commissioner can do to alleviate that problem? That's the question. Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no hands, this completes tonight's agenda. The chair will stand for a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.